there's been, yeah, I saw that.
It's too bad because people could put brush in there and now.
Somebody went nuts.
Yeah.
There's been two or three
Commercial.
different.
It's about like it's 12 foot tall. Soon as I sit down.
You know what's going to happen. Yep.
Everybody's mics on?
Yep.
Okay, well, now wait till you sit down. Everybody please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. I understand a longtime resident of this town passed away here recently. His name is Alex Smith. If we could please have a moment of silence for him. Thank you very much. Okay, has everybody had a chance to look the bills over?
Yes.
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 Any questions?
The yearly audit went up again.
Yep.
Can you look into that? Anybody else doing that, or is that a kind of state thing?
Went up only, it's not a state bill, but it did go up, it was for the 73 audit. It was $7,400 for the 23 audit. For the one that we're voting on tonight in the bills, it was $7,500, so it went up $100. Any other questions?
Yeah, the creek side, the outhouse, is that for the whole summer? The
No, I think
$500?
the bill is a couple different, sometimes I don't see that. Jason, that you're the board, goes to leave.
Yeah. It's $250 each. I didn't see it earlier this year.
We had one other, we had last month.
Did?
Yeah,
So it's every month?
yeah.
Wow.
That should be 500 right there, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, we had it last month too.
And it's from until October, correct?
Yeah, pretty much until after the baseball season's done, because that's the only event we have going on, the only sporting event. So,
Yeah, I think they were there until October last year.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, well, that's what Margaret said.
Baseball's done by the end of June.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, it doesn't go on all summer,
No, it doesn't.
unless they have a tournament or something, but they have not had them lately.
Maybe we should cut it back to September.
What do you think?
I didn't hear what Mark.
I said maybe we should cut it back to September.
Doesn't the Betterment Committee have some kind of event later in the summer? No, they got square dance coming up.
That's in June.
I'd
The
like to
trunk or
have
treat.
Jason's opinion of that, because he knows what events are going in,
Yeah.
you know?
We can check with Jason.
I hate to pull them too early and people go in and use the pavilion, they don't have a bathroom.
Okay.
That's. Okay. Any other questions on the bills?
No.
I move to accept the bill, pay the bills.
George and
I'll second.
And Dave makes the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Minutes, everybody have a chance to read the minutes over?
I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seven, right?
She sent it to the judge instead of me. I just read through it, broken.
Okay.
So I move to accept the minutes.
I'll second.
Margaret seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? So carried. We have a speaker tonight, very resident, Ms. Leverance, would like to just give us a little information. If you could please step up to either mic so that we can hear what you have to say.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Leverens. I live at 4600 Orchard Road, right in Berry Center. And I spoke with New York State DOT regarding moving the 35-mile-per-hour signs on the north end of 98 about 100 or 200 yards north, as well as getting a children at play sign. I'm asking the board for a letter of support. I spoke with Andy Quill at New York State DOT on Jefferson Road in Rochester, and I'm going to send a letter, and I'm going to get letters of support from some other people within the county, and I'm asking for the board for a letter of support from you guys. The new park brings in some kids. I understand it's farther back from the road, which is nice, but you still have the traffic going up and down. And my little girl likes to ride her bike there, and I mean, why not ask for it? So, I mean, people normally don't slow down until the second 35-mile-per-hour zone, which is right next to the entrance. So that's what I'm asking for today from the board, is a letter of support for that, to go with my petition. And that's all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Hemlock Ridge Solar. As you know, last month we approved the HCA, it was signed and sent to everyone concerned. We're still waiting for the road use agreement from them with all the attachments. We haven't gotten all of that, have we?
No.
I didn't think so. So we're still waiting for that from Hemlock Ridge. Anything else to add to that?
No. Yeah, we're just waiting for the road use agreement.
Garrett Solar Project. June 5th, we had a tour question and answer period of time that was set up for the Berry Fire Company. Our fire chief here, Josh Jers, attended that along with quite a few members.
Nice turnout, yeah.
Yeah, it was a very good turnout. So they informed us at that time about it. The system is hot. They are producing electricity and it is going into the system. So as a result, I know that Bridget and Bridget Incorporated are busy working on getting the numbers all straightened out and taken care of, because when we did the original, it was set to take place in 21. And here it is 25. So dates and numbers, the amount isn't going to change, but I mean the dates of payments and everything will be changing. So we'll have new numbers coming out, which will be shared with the board when we get them. When I spoke to the fire company people that were there, they were very receptive. They learned a lot, according to those that I spoke with. They were loved having the opportunity to have this question and answer with the personnel from AES. So it was great for that. There is, as you can see, the weekly letter that comes out. There is cleanup. Cleanup is taking place. I spoke with a couple gentlemen about that. That is still going on right now with roadways. they can't have the mud on, you know, they had a stone driveway originally, but because of the traffic in and out with the big trucks, they tracked a lot of mud in. So now they're removing all of that mud and stone and everything, and putting all fresh stone down in those drives. They're cutting the grass, making sure the perimeter outside the fence is all clean and accessible. And the tree and shrub plantings are taking place as well. They were going to did they contact you at all yet?
No.
They had a bunch of dirt and stone that they wish to get rid of. I gave them Dale's name and number so that they could contact him, and said that where we keep all our debris like that for later for fill is down in the back part of the park. So they're supposed to contact him before they do anything with that. The crossbars. In the rows, solar rows, there is just above the ground, there's a big square box that runs between two rows. And that's what articulates the motion of the panels so that they can track the sun. The one thing that bothered me about that, and I told them I would like it corrected, is that what if our firefighters or emergency personnel of some type were in there at night and they're rushing around? These only go between two. It's every other row. So these two have the bars down through them. Then between these two, there's nothing. It's a clean pathway. Then the next two, you've got the bars to articulate just the two rows. So they are putting reflective tape on so that if at nighttime, if anybody is in there needing to take care of emergency reasons, whatever they may be, reflective tape on those crossbars, they don't need to be banging up their shins and falling on their heads. And that's about it. I know we also, the numbers, because they are hot, we gotta take a look at the start time and backdating a few things so we can start collecting our check.
Yeah, yeah, hopefully we'll have those numbers soon. I know Bridget's working on those.
Good. George, you had a question?
I did. Is it going to be possible to get a yearly amount of energy that they're putting out? So,
No, because it gets dumped directly into the grid system.
track
They, yeah, 4.5 megawatts.
Yeah, that's if we have sun all the time. Okay, that's what I'm saying. We'll, they're open to questions. We can ask that.
Sure.
And the tree growth and everything, I saw where they replanted a bunch, so that was nice. Get the blockade around it.
Yep, they got the trees going in, the typical arborvitae. Well, really, they're not arborvitaes, they're pines that they're planting back in there. And then they have like blueberry bushes they're putting in and so on too. So, anything else? Mr. Jers, did you wish to express something about that tour?
No, I was glad to be involved in the tour. Our standard operating procedure for it's going to be, unless there's a traumatic injury, we are not going to be in there without a representative from the company. As far as fire or anything like that, we could protect surroundings and pressure, grass fires, exposures, but there's no reason for us to be in there.
Did you hear anything from the emergency management office? Because they were invited as well.
No, and I called and left Justin a message and never heard back. I don't know if we had another engagement or what. I'm assuming where this was our first kind of one being invited to, I'm assuming that they've been to several around the county.
Just with the
Yeah.
easiest.
Yeah, no, I did not hear quite of it.
Okay. Okay, Heritage Wind?
Do you have anything?
No, nothing new since last month. Just, last month we talked about how they didn't approve the request to proceed with the tree clearing and asking for additional information. Some of that information is the decommissioning agreement, which we talked about last month. So we're still waiting for the applicant to submit those documents and additional information. So nothing new since then.
And that's what I wanted to add to, is I reached out again to Brian O'Shea to get my questions answered, and just what funding they were gonna help with to make up for the $12 million loss that they, with the change of turbines that they've decided on, what we're gonna do for the town, going that far. We got to stay on top of it. I reached out, instead of Brian now, I've reached out to Carmen, so hopefully I'll get those questions answered and be able to come back with some answers. The other thing, as far as decommissioning in that, I did find some information this was 5 years ago when we were looking into changing the wind ordinance and that, and talking with Texas A&M, the wind research place. They were saying at that time the cost of decommissioning the turbines was going to be close to $1 million per turbine, they estimated. We certainly don't want this town to be saddled with that cost. So we really need to, doing our homework, looking and seeing what the cost of this decommissioning is going to be. I reached out to a salvage operation here. They said they weren't set up to do that type of thing, but they estimated $500,000 per turbine now, present day. I don't know how well that is. Oklahoma is having some taken down right now. There are some smaller ones that are being taken down. Maybe we can extrapolate, years and size and, come up with we need to do our homework. And according to the host agreement, that homework should be paid for by Heritage. So we need to.
In doing your homework, did you see in there where they are providing a, just escaped my mind, a note, insurance note, stating that that is to cover in case at the time of decommissioning. This note can help take care of it if they were to all of a sudden pull up roots and walk away. And then that note is to cover the town for any losses we had at that time. And that is supposed to be revisited every 5 years based on what salvage prices are at that time for the different materials in that. So we do have that, and it's all legal, everything else, it's all been signed.
Right, we just need to have those numbers to start with so that they know. And businesses packing up and moving away doesn't give me warm fuzzies that they're going to be there to pick up the tab.
Well, that's why we insisted on that, what's the term? It's like a note.
Yeah, I'm forgetting which one for this one, but it's either like a letter of credit or a security note. I forget the terminology in their agreement, but yeah, it's exactly as you described it, Sean. It's to make sure.
We got to make sure that is enough to cover.
Yep, and that's why every couple of years we revisit it and make sure it's up to industry standards, and if there needs more, and they'll put more in. So that does save the town in that. And
we just need to start it right out the right way. Let's not start on the whole. Make sure we have the right numbers to begin with.
Sean, Carmen is on maternity leave, so Rob is taking, I don't know what his last name, but if you call Ann Mathis, she can help you with who is in charge, because Carmen just had a baby.
I won't get an answer from Carmen.
So
Okay.
no, you won't.
Thank you.
Not from Carmen.
All right, thank you.
Okay, anything else on Heritage?
I did see that on Facebook, actually, there was a post from Heritage Winds basically going out to the residents of what would you like, we're going to have a grant, what would you like to have us provide you for? So it seems like they're starting to want to go directly to the residents instead of either the town board or planning board and that. I just seen it this morning.
On the Facebook page?
Yeah,
They offer grants each year.
so,
Well, those are grants. I think what Dave is saying sounds completely different from the grants.
yeah, I wish I could keep going, we may come back to it.
Okay, comprehensive plan.
So the comprehensive plan has gone to the planning board. The planning board has made their changes and their requests for changes. Majority of them are housekeeping and going through things and getting everything in order. There was one request that for removing the survey results in front of the recommendations of the town, what they were going to do. That's something we're going to need to discuss as a town board and put that out there. One thing that, I don't know if I'll just talk about first before I make the motion, but I would like to, because it's ridiculous to put out two comprehensive plans and let the public decide which one they want. So I think we need to, agree on one that we're going to present to the public for the public presentation. I think it would be easier if we, during our workshop, televised that or recorded that session so that the community members and public could hear our thoughts on it before attending the public hearing if they have disagreements with it. So I guess I'd like to make a motion that when we do have our workshop for discussion on the planning board's recommendations for the comprehensive plan, that we have that televised or recorded.
There's no need for a motion for that.
Okay?
We're in agreement, just do it.
Yeah,
As long as we agree to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't come to the workshop and all of a sudden we know we don't want the public to hear and you didn't make a motion.
That's no problem.
Okay?
No problem at all.
Okay. If everybody's in agreement, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay with that?
yeah, I'm with it.
Good.
Damn it.
Okay, I'm sorry?
Very good.
Water District 10. We're in the process right now of the CDBG grant. They have requested a number of different things from us that we are supplying the grant writer at this time, that the state wants in this application this time around, or this grant application. We have a resolution coming up here where part of that, in order to apply for the CDBG grant, we have to have a public hearing discussing the grant itself. So we will be voting on that shortly for the public hearing, which tentatively and to be voted on could be at the start of our next board meeting. That's about it on that. Which slides right into the motion. Okay, so we have a motion. Town of Erie, Town Board, resolution to set a public hearing for applying for a community development block grant for the Water District 10 project. We all talked about this in the past. We're talking about this being our Hail Mary last shot. That's it. Whereas the Town of Erie has proposed Water District number 10, and whereas the Community Development Block Grant Program Make funds available to eligible local governments for public infrastructure, and whereas it is the intent of the Town of Berry Board to schedule a public hearing to discuss applying for a CDBG for grant for the Water District 10 project in the amount of $2 million. And now therefore, the Town Board of the Town of Berry hereby resolves to hold a public hearing on July 9th, 2025 at 7 p.m. at the Berry Town Hall to discuss the Water District Number 10 community development needs, specifically the need for certain CDBG applications for the 2025 program year to assist with the Water District 10 project. Do I hear a second for that?
I'll second that.
Kurt got it.
Kurt's got a second. I made the motion. Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, the only discussion I'd have on that is, if this doesn't go through, we don't get the grant, I'm still in favor of continuing to work towards getting more grant money in the years of the future to get the Water District 10 done, if we can get it done. But just
it would be nice if we could, but, you know, I pulled out and I threw it in here.
Hopefully we'll get it this time, not a problem, but if we don't, I'm not willing to give up on it.
Well, it's people that live in that water district too.
Right.
So back in 2019, when we first tried putting this together until COVID hit us, the yearly debt service would have been $508.
Yep. And we had the majority of the people agreeing to it.
You got it. The majority did agree to it. Then, in 2023, August of 2023, it went from $508 to $1,080 a year. It doubled.
Yep.
Then last year, it went up to $1,122 a year debt service. If we can get this $2 million, that debt service should be knocked down to about $700 or $800 a year. That's what we're going to need. But the problem is, you can't get multiple grants for a project. So you got to get the biggest point, biggest dollar, and that's why we're going for the CDBG.
I agree.
Because that's the biggest one.
Say our prayers.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
And what time is that public hearing?
7, right at the start of our board meeting. Okay, supervisors' financials. Total receipts last month were $88,507. Townwide general fund, we have spent so far this year $309,951, or 44.3%. Highway department has spent so far this year $499,846, or 40.3%. Highway report.
Everybody get my email?
I did.
Any questions? We're done buying salt.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah. Till next year.
Until next year, yeah. You notice on there, he's got down, once again for the community here, the veteran banners that we have throughout the town. They've got those all installed, as you have noticed. We have more banners than we have brackets to mount them. So at this time, when the brackets are available and when the men are available, they will be mounting more brackets, and there will be more banners going up and down.
Brackets are done. They've been done for a while. We gotta have a lift for 2 people in order to install the brackets. So the lift has to come from the village of Albion, and we haven't had time.
Prepped and poured concrete for the new dugouts at Little League Field. I've been down there, we checked those out. If you guys haven't seen them yet, they are awesome. Our guys put in the stone and the concrete pad for it, and then Stockham's, was it Stockham's that assembled them?
They did, yeah.
So these were not prefab, but they were already, everything was kind of like putting an erector set together from what I understand.
They're pretty stout. They're not gonna blow away.
Solid. No, they're not going anywhere. I did have one concern that I contacted Jason about, and that was if you take a look at them, it's channel metal. And I'm thinking about some little kid that's got his hand in there, and all of a sudden, one of his teammates hits a home run or something, and he goes to pull his hand, it's a sharp edge in there. So I contacted Jason about that, and he said they are planning on putting plywood up on the inside.
He and I are gonna look at that tomorrow morning at 6:30 if you're out of bed.
Sorry to say, I am at 5 o'clock every morning. Okay. But they are great. If you have a chance, stop by the park and check those out. Those are really nice. Town clerk, your receipts totaled, wow. $1,362, huh? That shows odd dogs, right? Big chunk of it. No, it wasn't. Building permits. I always got a kick out of it because it's usually your dog licenses that are the majority.
And as far as the water billing, we've got just very few left to pay. Highway water superintendent did go out and shut a few off, so that got a few people in here. So other than that, everyone was paid up, 0 outstanding, and we're due to them again July 1st.
Anything to add, sir, to the water? Yes.
No. What?
Well, if you're going to talk about Water District 8 extension.
Yeah, I probably should have put that in my report. The first full week of July is our potential excavation and installation of that Water District 8 between Miller Road and to the south, the top of the hill, 2,500 feet. Right now, we're waiting on the excavator from the county and another excavator for backfill from Ridgeway. And I'm paying ahead. I'm supplying a lot of people with a lot of labor and trucking so that when I ask for help to do this water line, that they can't say no.
Excellent.
All the materials, you got everything.
Yeah, everything is here, Kurt. Yep.
Okay, assessors report. Alexis sent it out to us. Grievance day went well. She made the necessary changes to the tentative roll. The 2025 final roll will be posted July 1st, 2025. She's working on the 2026 update. Photos for the town are done. She's currently going through each parcel and updating inventory. She's looking for at things like correct special districts, building conditions, improvements, land types, property class, and exemptions. For agricultural parcels receiving an exemption, she will be making sure she has updated leases, if applicable, and soil group worksheets. She says Town of Berry offers a veteran's exemption for the primary residence of a veteran, primary residence. The county offers these exemptions to veterans. Senior, their income must be $24,699 or less. Disability income, $24,699 or less. The STAR exemption credit is open to anyone who has a primary residence and makes less than $500,000 for basic and $100,000 for enhanced, which is 65 and older. If you need to apply or need more information, please contact her. And her number and everything is on our website. We just got from the state our assessments, and I thought I threw them in there. I was taken out by mistake. Anyways, the town of Berry is at 78% assessed value at this time. We will be having full assessment being taken care of, or going through full assessment this summer. We are not the lowest assessed town, which surprised me. We are better than Clarendon. I think they're at 76%. And they just did a reassessment, was it 2-3 years ago? They had 2 different days where they had people in there clamoring about the reassessment. So I don't know what the story is there. And then there's one other town that's even lower than that. So we are not the lowest assessed value county. But like I said, everything's going to be reassessed this coming summer, so that will be changing for next year. Code Enforcement Officer Jared Hicks. He sent in the fact that I scanned and sent it out. I thought I did that yesterday for you, and I apologize, I sent it out today. He's on the one attachment, which is a spreadsheet. You see all the new permits highlighted that are new in May. I have also submitted to Planning Board a subdivision application and a site plan review. There is an area variance that has been submitted to the zoning board as well. He has also submitted his mileage to leave for the first 6 months of the year. The Baird Solar project is nearing completion, and he will be able to close out their permit in the next month or so. He was told online that their initial test a couple of weeks ago, and was assured that AES should be in the process of setting up the fee we received from that. As always, feel free to reach out with any questions, and that's once again Jared Hicks. You find his contact information on our website as well. Okay. Planning Board.
Had a land separation. Gary, you wanna get into that?
We had one land separation.
Can you please come up to the speaker, please, Gary? I'm sorry. Again, not quite getting everything.
We had the one, yeah, losing my voice now. We had the one land separation that was approved. We did a seeker for it and everything. So they will be separating 12.84 acres off and then building a house on 5 acres of it. Come off of a parcel of 140 acres. We approved all the changes to the comprehensive plan. You guys should have had that back on your desk already.
Well, that was only 2 days ago, 2 nights ago.
But that was all approved, so you should have that back to set it up for your public hearing and whatnot. That was pretty much everything.
The land separation is that parcel up there on 31A,
No, Gillette Road.
Gillette Road, yeah.
Gillette Road, okay.
The other one, we didn't, there was something missing on that, wasn't there?
Well, we set it up, or they set it up for a public hearing. And then they found a waiver that they could use. Correct, Gary?
That was the one on Gillette Road.
Yes.
But there was another one as well that we were talking about
On 31A.
on 31A.
Yeah. They gave the final on that. We had the public hearing was last month.
That's right. So we did the seeker on that to close it
Yeah.
out. That's right. So that closed out the one on 31A.
And you had two seekers.
Two seekers we did.
Monday night.
Yeah.
That was the brunt of it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah. Zoning board, they haven't met yet, but they are meeting
Monday,
Monday night. This coming Monday,
yes.
okay? Park,
It looks like it's actually getting used finally. Seen some groups over there, games being played. Actually seen some kids playing on the new equipment, so nobody seemed to fall off, which is good. Yeah, it's just that there hasn't been that many sunny days. I mean, it's just finally it's starting to get halfway decent. Hopefully it stays around. I think we'll see more and more groups down there once it dries out, basically.
Big game tonight up there.
Is there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of cars.
So that's good. It's actually being utilized.
The Berry Pub's having a lot of winning games.
Proud Nana.
That's why I know that the dugout, I've already been inside.
Okay. Utilities,
Really nothing too much on the utilities. The only thing I got is, I think it was a smart move sort of putting the brakes on for now for the EV charging stations and that, because a lot of the big players are moving right away from EV. Honda, Toyota, Nissan. There's actually Nissan, I'm pretty sure it's Nissan, is actually working on a water motor that will actually run on water. Now that's going to be 10, 20 years down the road.
is it hydrogen?
No, not hydrogen, actual water. But hydrogen is the other big motor that they're all going to. So that, because it almost zero.
Maybe with the water and the separation of the atoms.
Yeah, the one motor weighs 88 pounds. It's
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy what they're coming up with in sizes and that. So I think you're going to see in the near future they're going to use less and less fossil fuels, including lithium and everything else. And I think hydrogen in this new water one, hydrogen you're definitely going to see in the next few years. The construction company, was it JCB? Or was the main construction company? JCB, isn't it?
It was a JCB, yes.
Yeah, they actually have a functioning hydrogen motor right now that they're using in their equipment.
Made in England.
Yeah, so pretty cool.
Did I forward to you? I'm pretty sure I did back about a month ago. There was a gentleman contacted me about hydrogen systems to
I'll have
install.
to double check. I think that's the better way to go than the way a lot of people are going with electric. Nothing against electric, but hydrogen has almost zero pollutants.
Double check.
Yeah, if you can send that to me, that'd be great.
Anything else, Dave?
No, that should be it.
Dave?
I think the only other thing we have is we need to do a new flood damage prevention ordinance. So to maintain the eligibility for our national flood insurance program, we need to adopt a new law. We got the documents from DEC about doing a model local law, so my office will put that together. The process is a little different, just to make sure our law completely matches what they need to get the insurance. They want to review the draft before we introduce it and adopt it. So review, the deadline is mid-August. We'll have a draft well before then, and so we'll get that taken care of. I'm working on that. We can, yeah, if you guys have comments, we just can't start the formal introduction process because DEC wants to see the draft, but of course we can get that for the July meeting just so you guys can review it and see if you have anything. Yeah, that's fine. No, we can have it done by the July meeting and get that over there.
I'm just watching his expressions.
He's helping me with the law, so.
Okay, just a little update for everybody. We're on general code. Yeah, their bill is this month, right? No, next month. The bill from general code is coming up. They have finally completed all the laws that we have passed in the last 3 years. It's like 5 of them. So they have finally updated our E-code, and they sent us some sheets, inserts for our code book. I thought there was one sitting up here, but is it wrong? I thought the judges were sitting.
No, it doesn't, it's actually in the chambers.
Oh my God. Okay, anyways, the code book, Maureen has diligently been inserting into the code books, the physical hard code books, those additional sheets, the updates from all the laws that we have approved and the state comptroller's office has approved over the last 3 years. If you have a code book, that's that green book, if you have one at home, please bring it in so Maureen can update it. It would be greatly appreciated. I know a couple people handed theirs in because they go right to the E-code, which is on our website. Last thing I have to mention is you see this lovely carpeting we have had in here for a very long time. I've gotten a number of complaints, especially the last couple of years, and especially from the Board of Elections now, that it is a tripping hazard. And they do not want to see, because we have little ripples, they don't want to see anybody fall, get injured, because then the Board of Elections is afraid they're going to get sued, and because it happens on our property, we could get sued. So, primary is coming up in, what, 10, 11 days? And I will get in here and I'll start cutting the carpeting up, and the boys are going to carry it all out for us. So we'll have just bare floor like you have in the foyer out there, it's just tiles. Okay, just so you know and you're aware of it.
Do you wanna, is there any chance of stretching it? I mean, making it flat again?
I had two carpet companies come in last year
Okay.
because of the complaints I was getting, and they said, no, just hold it as worn.
Okay, just wanted to check.
But it's, you know, it's something that maybe we can take a look at when we start, because we'll be starting to work on the 2026 budget in a couple of months. That may be something we want to consider, is, you know how I always had those large projects that I put into the budget every year, that might be one of the large projects that you consider for next year, next year's budget. Yes, ma'am.
So we have to get to the Wednesday night for sport here at 6. Just, you said.
Wednesday night?
Just so it runs either not disturbed yet or back together.
Yeah.
I know.
Why Wednesday night? I thought you had court Thursday nights. No, you circled a number. Oh, Juneteenth, I'm sorry. Silly me. Who pays attention to national holidays? One last thing before I ask for adjournment. Reminder that the BBC is having their annual square dance at the town park in the pavilion, June 21st. 5 o'clock? Does it start? 6? 6 o'clock, okay. Okay, so the BBC is having their annual square dance starting at 6 o'clock on June 21st. Be there or be square. Okay, George, you want?
Yeah, just some clarification things in that. Did they start with the Frontier Heating and Cooling? They didn't give any update on that?
Not at this time. They have, I signed the contract with them and everything else. We're all set to go. You know, so once again, you call in that pecking order. And as you can feel, these are working fine right now with air conditioning.
I thought they put it in already.
No.
Okay.
Biggest concern is to make sure it's all installed before winter comes.
Yep. Okay.
And that'll be mounted right over there on the floor. That's centered between those two on the floor.
Looking into any training yet for the?
I spoke to somebody, yes. There is, I'll get that information up to you shortly. I was given a name and everything. Because the last person we're gonna have is employed by Monroe Ambulance, and we don't have a contract with them anymore.
Can we also say that for the letter of support for the speed limit sign for children at play, that we're going to be discussing that at the workshop? So
Well, I plan on, I will compose something a little bit sooner than that, and I will send it out to everybody, so you know, take a look at it.
Just wanted to leave knowing that we're going to do something.
Yeah, we will put together a letter of support. There's no doubt about that.
And the other one I can talk to, don't take off, I've got something to talk about.
You're in trouble.
No.
Thank you
Okay.
for the report.
Sean,
Thank you for the report.
Sean, hey, just throw this out for Mrs. Leverance. Typical process for the state DOT, because I've gone through it before, they want law enforcement to put up their signs, their radar, you know, go through the motions before they'll do anything. The letter of support will help, yes. And I caution about asking for a children at play sign. The state does not, they don't support them because it's saying that it's okay to have your children playing in the street. That's their lawyer's analogy of it. Yeah, so
I know. I did talk to them and they were very hesitant, but I still want to try.
I just didn't want you to
And, no,
get your hopes up.
I do plan on getting letters of support from law enforcement.
Okay.
And yes, I understand what I'm up against, and it may not happen, and they did come out and do a survey not too long ago, but there are new residents there, a lot more with children in
Yep.
the area.
No, I agree, 100%.
And the new park, so I'm gonna try to work.
Yeah, the one thing about having that speed limit, the sheriff's department has those, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, because I contacted, I was getting a lot of complaints a couple of years ago for up there on Johnny Cake. And all the cars are flying down through those homes right there. And I tried getting the sheriff's department to put their machines out there to kind of slow traffic down. And never happened. They said, yeah, we'll see where we can put them.
Get one of the archery gears and stick it by the road.
Yeah, people hit the brakes real quick. Geez, when I was coming in here Monday night for the planning board meeting, all the way from my home to here, which is only about 2 miles, freaking deer were running everywhere across the road. I couldn't believe how many were out running around Monday. You know what? I'm glad you said, somebody said, thank you, Josh, Chief Jers, for your report. And I wanted to point out on here, and I just looked at it when you said that, June 17th, fire company will have a flag retirement ceremony, 1900 or 7 o'clock, for those who don't subtract 1,200 hours, at the fire station. So on June 17th, which is just next week, Tuesday night, yeah. So next Tuesday night at 7 p.m. If you have any old American flags, you know somebody, and you want it retired, they will do it in a proper way. I've been to that a few times in the past there.
It was always the Boy Scouts that did it with us,
Yep.
but we're gonna kind of keep that moving.
Good. I know ours, we weren't sure what was going on.
We still have a receiver out here, right?
Yeah, we still have a box out in the fair area.
Gary was gonna grab the rock.
I don't know
I'll
how,
make sure he does.
I think Lee, I'm not sure. I'll have to check. Well, we can see if there's any out there. There are some? Okay. Okay. We're looking to see what we could do with them. And I'm glad to see this right here. I don't know if I can say this, but you're having a Facebook Live gun raffle October 2nd. We don't promote violence here.
there's anything wrong.
What is OcuStar?
So that's a new company that we started working with. They're out of Buffalo. They do, they come out and do physicals or fit tests or, for businesses. I guess the big part of that is we had 23 people do it, so 23 people do physicals, and means we're still there, still got a few people that want to be involved. So.
What, do they have to, is it kind of a physical fitness kind of test?
So it's a notch more involved than like a DOT physical. So we do, they get your heart rate up, you gotta do exercises and stuff to make sure that you can, perform your duties without, being medically fit.
Okay.
So it's actually required once a year to be an active firefighter.
Okay, very good. How long's it been since it was last done, out of curiosity?
So, we used to have work fit out of Rochester. About 5 years ago was the last time they came out to the fire station, but since then, people have had to go on their own to either Albion or Batavia. But when you have people go on their own, the participation wasn't as good.
Right. Oh, that's good.
So now, people have mostly been, staying compliant, but it's just easier when they can come to it right at the station on a Tuesday night.
Excellent. And I do, since you've become chief, I want to applaud you for everything that you've been doing to try and get things more cohesive, like between the town and the fire company itself. You're bringing them out of the 19th century. I appreciate that.
That's the hope. Thank you.
We appreciate that, let's say that. Thank you.
The one thing I'll make a comment on, so 27% of our calls last month were mutual aid to other companies. I know there's been a lot of talk, especially in Medina, about the things going on there and mutual aid and different things. We all have to work together. 27% is a big number on going to help other people. you know, other districts or other towns. But no, slow month, we keep it that way.
Did you have a call for that either today or
But
yesterday?
we'll know today,
Yeah.
they want to know.
Yep, that's right. Okay, anything else? Once again, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay then, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
What was our adjournment? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.